Okay, good evening and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun to lean on today's Simon is Simon Kuf Sadi Zayin 197 in Orach Chaim. We're talking here about Hilchos Zimun, the Berachos Hamazon. In the Halacha Dalet, it talks about, let's say you had 10 people and 5 of them ate Kedei Svia. They ate bread and filled them up. They're satiated. And 5 of them ate not Kedei Svia, Kazayas. We learned in the Gemara in Brachos on Daf Kaf that Kali Shal's Madak, the Galas, Kazayas, that Kabetza. They make Berachos Hamazon even if they only eat Kazayas. They only Kabetza, even though the Chiyuv is only the Rabbana. Still, there's a chiyuv in the Rabbanan. So here we learn in this halacha that the person who's leading the zimun should be one of those people who ate a kedei svia, because he's chayav d'oraisa. Technically, you shouldn't have the person in the Rabbanan being motzi. However, if he doesn't know how to bench, the 5 people that ate kedei svia don't know the words of Berachos Hamazon, they don't have a bencher with them, and one of the people who did not eat kedei svia, only kazayas of bread, he knows benching. He should lead benching because technically, even though normally a Rabbanan can't be motzi d'oraisa, that's only when it comes to a Katan Shgeil China, whose principal obligation is never more than a Darbanan. But a person here potentially could be Chayiv D'Oraisa. And it works on the concept of shofar, right? Even though a person here is shofar, he's Yotzei already. Later on in the day, you can moti someone in the shofar. Even though technically you're not even moti someone, you have to, right? Usually you have mechuyev in the davar, but you are mechuyev in shofar. It's just you're Yotzei Yechil already. This is based on a concept of Kol Yishal Arevim Zel Azeh. The Gemara says, the Rishonim say, that we're all obligated to make sure everyone else is motzi their chiyuvim. So as long as I'm a man over bar mitzvah, and I'm chayav mitzvah Berachos Hamazon, if I were to eat kedei svia, even though now I didn't eat kedei svia, only kazai, it's only chayav d'Rabbanan, but really potentially it's like shofar. I'm chayav midol raisa. Anytime I would eat a kedei svia, I can be motzi somebody else. It's just better that the raisa should be motzi d'Rabbanan. And the Ramah extends this to say a unique shita in the Rishonim. One of the Rishonim says, Rav Eliezer Mitz says, the same thing applies even if 5 people, 10 people ate Kedei Svia, they're entirely satiated. However, 5 of them are still thirsty and they want to drink, but they don't let themselves drink. So that also is not Kedei Svia. You're not Chai. It's like eating Kedei because you're not satiated unless you drink when you want to drink. So technically, in applying the aforementioned halacha, the person who should lead the benching, even though they're all Chayav technically in Berachos Hamazon, it's not worse if you didn't drink anything. It's not worse than eating a Kedei of bread. So the person who drank should lead the benching. If he doesn't know how to bench, then the person who didn't drink could lead the benching. Now, if you've listened to some of the shiurim I've said about Berachos Hamazon, explaining that Gemara in Brachos, where the Gemara says that Hashem is no say panim, Hashem shows favor to Klal Yisrael because they do something extraordinary for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What do they do? That even though the Torah says V'chalta v'savata v'rachta, only when you're satiated you make a Berachos Hamazon. They're medaktim atzman kazayas like kabetza. Even if they only kazayas bread or kabetza, they're doing a tova to Hashem. They're treating him favorably. They're showing favoritism to Hashem over other gods by benching, even though they only ate kazayas or kabetza. Now the problem with that Gemara is that, what do you mean showing favoritism to Hashem? Hashem didn't command you to make Berachos Hamazon until you ate Kedei Svia, v'chalta v'savata v'rachta. That's not just an option, right? If you ate Kedei Svia, you could bench. Technically, it sounds like it's part of the actual chiyuv of Berachos Hamazon. V'achalta, when you ate, it doesn't say v'achalta v'rachta. Achila, the Gemara says achila is a kazayah. So technically, achila, if that was Dar's intention, it just should have said v'achalta v'rachta, right? V'achalta v'savata v'rachta tells you have to eat kedei svia, you have to be satiated, completely full, like you don't want to eat anymore. And only then are you chayav. How could Klal Yisrael be machmer on themselves something that the Torah doesn't want them? Hashem didn't want them. So I explained the Gemara in a different light, a different vein, to say that really be the rice chayav kedei svia when you're satiated. But sometimes there's always room for dessert, right? Even if you're completely satiated, if you want and you're in the mood and you want to treat yourself, you can have dessert. There's always room for dessert, even though you're completely full. What does he mean kazayas kabetza? Kazayas kabetza is talking about the highest class types of desserts, right? A martini. We have a kazayas, we have an olive, garnishing your martini. Your gin and vermouth, that makes a martini with the olive on top. And gebetza usually has the egg whites, where your creme brulee or a fancy, fancy dessert with ice cream or whipped cream or something like that. So if you have that fancy dessert, that they're medaktek, even though technically you're right, it's considered complete satiation if you don't have dessert. You don't have dessert, you're completely satiated. They're medaktek to have dessert in order to bench in the completely fullest way. mitzvah ben mufchar, right? So that's really what the Gemara means over there. That's how Hashem shows favoritism to them. They're willing to be not just technically satiated, but completely satiated before they make Birkas Hamazon. Doesn't mean you can't make Birkas Hamazon if you don't have dessert, but it's best to make. So once we hear that, so maybe you can understand this Ramah, which is a quote from a Rishon, Relation Mitz, that if you're thirsty also at the end of a meal, even though you're completely satiated, you don't have to eat anymore. Thirsty, right? So maybe he means you're thirsty means that, I don't think the fact that you're thirsty takes away the fact that you're satiated. Satiated is about feeling full. Thirsty is a different thing. But maybe Razor Mitz means Slicha, it's sure. Slicha, I think Razor Mitz means is that you have to, be completely have every want that you want taken care of, and that you have dessert and have a good drink to end off your meal. I don't know if that's exactly what a mitzvah means, but that's what I would like to say. So there's two levels of svia. There's the basic level of svia, mitzvah and mufchar. So if you apply that to this halacha, it makes sense, right? That really both people are chayav midaraisa. Just one's mitzvah and mufchar. So the person who's leading the benching should be one who's mitzvah and mufchar, meaning that he had the dessert, and usually most of the people that didn't have dessert. Now, what the Shulchan Aruch says that someone kazayis, technically, if you ate a kazayis, can you mostly someone the rice? Besides the fact that I said I don't think you're really chayav for kazayis. Again, there's not the halacha. The halacha is if you ate a kazayis, you're chayav to bench. So that's what the post can say. But according to what I'm saying, I don't think that a kazayis, for a different reason, a kazayis can be, like we said, the rabbanan can't be mostly the rice. It's proven from the Gemara in various places in Mesachas Brachos. Someone who's only chayav the rabbanan can't be mostly someone who's the rice. And the claim that we say that Yatza Motzi is just like shofar, right? I was Yotze mitzvah of shofar, I could be Motzi you because Kol Yishal Revim Zel is dead. That's talking about shofar, where the chiyuv of shofar is based on the day of Rosh Hashanah. On the day of Rosh Hashanah, I am a chuyav to blow shofar. I was Yotze already, right? It's based on the day. Here, we don't say you're walking around every day you're chayav in Birkas Hamazon. Birkas Hamazon is dependent on a situation that you're in. When you ate Kidei Svia, even though I'm a bar chiyuv, I'm a man above 13 years old, I'm not walking around always in a constant state of Birkas Hamazon. Only when I eat do I become in the state of Birkas Hamazon. However, Rosh Hashanah, the day of Rosh Hashanah, I'm walking around in the state of, only on the day of Rosh Hashanah, of blowing shofar. The first day of Sukkot, Midaraisa, I'm walking around the state, I'm always chayiv and lulav. Right? That's because of the day is mechayiv. It was Kol Yishal Reim Zel. Even though I was Yotzei, I can motzi you because the chiyuv stems from the day, not from what I did, personally what I did. However, when it comes to Birkas Hamazon, you have to eat. If you didn't eat, right? Kadei Svia, like I like to say, so then how can you multi somebody else? You have no chiyuv at all until you start eating. So I don't think they're comparable at all. So based on that, I would say, I would like to advance my pshat in explaining this halacha about the two different levels of Svia Doraisa. Again, what I say is not the accepted halacha, but it is definitely is worth food for thought. I don't like to make puns, but it was a bad pun, but it's okay. I'm a dad also. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.